it's such a challenge for folks to find affordable housing. I had some experiences as a youth with homelessness. And so I know what it's like firsthand to be a single person, not able to afford housing and not knowing where you're going to sleep at night. And
Wow.
I want to do everything I can to take that feeling away from as many people as
you can. You can do this alone, but it's going to take you forever, right? When you can build relationships, that's how you excel. And that's our business model is based around that. We built our business model around creating opportunities for people to partner.
Hello and welcome to the Dream Start Own podcast. I'm your host, Edgar the Connector, and today we got Tracy Koa. She's a rock star in the Subto community. I'm excited to have her here. And hey, give us a like, subscribe, it's free, and let's see what we can learn. She's got a lot to share, and she's got her own YouTube channel, which I've seen all over the place. Tell us a little bit about your channel. You're doing some co-living, is that right?
Yeah. Hi, Edgar. Thanks for having me. I am. My team and I are focused solely on co-living. So yeah, we do. We could talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, so I'm into co-living primarily because I really want to support people with affordable housing. I think that it's such a challenge for folks to find affordable housing. I had some experiences as a youth with homelessness. And so I know what it's like firsthand to be a single person, not able to afford housing and not knowing where you're going to sleep at night. And
Wow.
I want to do everything I can to take that feeling away from as many people as I can.
Wow, that's great. It's a good reason. I've gotten into the co-living space. Part of it was because of Pace and talking about the changes. I don't know. You probably don't know nearly as much about me as I've heard about you. So a little bit about me is I do have a sober living property. I picked it up Subto in November. Will be 2 years running it. I have an operator that runs it. And just the opportunity came for the Subto house at a decent low entry fee. And the only option was sober living or I move into it. Now we have 11 guests in there. And I feel good because I'm in the WhatsApp chat. I hear them. They send messages. They're appreciative. The house is nice. And then when they do move forward, because they got their sobriety so long, so many months, and their coins, I'm learning so much from it. And I want to do more of that.
I love that. That's one of my favorite things about real estate is that we get to make a living helping and supporting people. And it's pretty amazing. And there's plenty of ways that we can support people, especially when it comes to housing. So it makes it pretty easy. If you haven't gotten involved in real estate yet, but you're thinking about it, don't you worry. There's plenty of ways that you can make a difference.
Fantastic. So currently co-living that you're doing, I assume you have a decent sized team. What's your team consist of right now?
Yeah. So myself and my partner, Dustin, we met we're both an owners club. We met probably about a year and a half or so ago. And we worked on a few projects together, both visionaries, really had some great ideas and just knew we were a great fit. We knew that we would work together and do bigger things. And so we kind of came up with the business model that we currently have and very shortly into kind of getting our foundation and figuring out, operationally what we would need. We reached out to a friend named Kaipo, who is also an owners club with us. And we decided we wanted to see if he would join us because we felt like he would be a really good fit. And so we started out with the three of us and we got really clear on our vision and started to think through the processes and steps and who would fill those roles, right? Because when you're running a business and you're scaling a business, you have to be really mindful of not only your time, but you working in your highest and best use, right? And doing the things you enjoy. And so even though I'm really good at contracts, right? And I'm really good at understanding operational contracts, that's not where I can make us the most money, right? So where I'm bringing in and supporting our company is in building relationships, being on podcasts and having one-on-one conversations with people and, raising capital and explaining our projects to people. And so, the choice is like, I could, split my time between reading contracts and hanging out with people like you, or we could be proactive and bring somebody on board that does those other pieces. And so the three of us started to build out our team pretty early on. And now we have just a phenomenal team. We have Emily, who is our operator, and Emily is the glue, right? She's the person that makes sure everybody's doing their thing and everybody's on track and everybody's on task. She runs all our meetings and just has a pulse on every little piece. And then we have an asset manager, a full-time asset manager. We have a full-time project manager. He oversees whether it's a rehab that we're doing for a conversion or our new build project. He oversees all that. We have a funding liaison. So we have somebody that manages the funding side of things. We use a strategy where we bring in a credit sponsor on all of our projects. And so we need somebody to help support and manage the credit sponsorships and also all the loans. Because as you're building your portfolio, if you're using long-term debt, which most of our projects are, you need somebody to oversee and manage that as well. We have a full-time marketing person, Will Castillo, also in Owners Club. We have a full-time VA who has been with us for several years. Started with Dustin, actually started with our project manager probably 5-6 years ago, then started working with Dustin and then myself. And now she's full-time on staff with us as well. So that kind of makes up our team. And it really helps us be able to stay focused on, like I said, the things that we're really good at, the things that we enjoy. And it's allowed us to scale really efficiently.
Shout out to your team. Dustin, I've seen him on some podcasts as well. He was on with Jamil on the active income. I need to have him on my podcast. I got to reach out now that I have a connection. Yeah. Maybe you can send him my way. And Kaipo, I've heard of the name. I don't know if I've met him.
Yeah, Kaipo is also an Owners Club. Super, super stellar person. And Kaipo, he's one of those people, he's not going to tell you, but he has a very successful business in Hawaii that he's run for years. And so he brings not only he does all of our investor relations and he's a capital raiser, but he also brings his experience from scaling a large business, right? He's got a massive company now. So he's been through some of the heartaches and he knows some of the pieces that are really, really vital early on. So it's been really helpful. We're very grateful to have him.
That's great. How many co-living properties are you at now?
We have, for this business, we have 2 properties and 1 new build construction. Outside of that, before we came together as this business model, we've got many properties individually. Dustin and I have some together. We have some individually, but together for our company, we're on our 3rd project being our new build. And we're currently raising capital. We just actually opened that today for our 2nd new build construction. And so that's the path that we'll go moving forward for a few reasons. Primarily, we can build it, how we want it. We want to have ensuite bathrooms. So we want every one of our members to have their own bathroom. So we're doing a 3-story, 10-bedroom, 10-bathroom home. Everybody gets their own bathroom. We're doing a kitchen, large kitchen, dining room table on the main floor, and then kitchenettes on the 2nd and 3rd floor. And so that way everybody has access to, refrigerator, sink, all the things. And you're not just getting 10 people in one kitchen. And the numbers are great. That's also really nice. So really amazing return. You're putting a beautiful new asset into the community. You're housing 10 people. And so we're really excited about it.
That sounds fantastic. Where is that located at?
That's in Houston. So we're really favorable to Texas because of their laws relating to non-related individuals. So they're much more flexible. And so we're more confident in having 10 people in a home and not having it be an issue. Also, because we can build ground up, we're able to find the lots that the size and the shape work really well. And we can place the house on the lot so that we can maximize parking as well. So we're not, having parking issues.
I love it. Ground up construction. It's one of the few people that I've heard doing that.
There's not a lot. I don't actually know anybody in the Subto community doing that yet. We spent many, many months and we interviewed many contractors. And so we were not just looking for a contractor that knew how to build. We were looking for somebody that understood co-living, was passionate about supporting their community, and had similar values, right? Because it's not just about the numbers. It's not about coming in,
short on your budget so that, you put in shoddy materials, right? It's finding that balance where we're still, doing an economical build, but we're also providing, nice quality finishes for people as well. We want people to feel comfortable and have a nice home. So after interviewing many, many people, we found the contractor that is just, we're in line in all areas. And so, after the first time we met them, we got off the Zoom and we're like, that's our guy, this is our company. And then we met his team and they're phenomenal. And, we've been out, to Houston. We're actually all heading out again on Friday of this week. And, just really excited to have a solid team that has similar values.
What part of Houston? I'm in Houston.
We are, I got to think off the top of my head, we're by the university.
There's a couple of them.
University of Houston, sorry.
The main campus. So it's,
we're like 2-3 blocks away.
Okay. I know it's at 45. Yeah, that's an area that's picking up. That's fantastic. That's awesome. I need to hang out with you when you come to Houston. I think every time I see the Instagram posts is after you've been here.
Right. No, I'll reach out. Not this time. We're just going in and out in a day, but we'll be there more often as we'll be breaking ground. Probably this week, if not this week, early next week. So, we'll be there quite a bit.
Yeah. I'd love the opportunity to be there and hang out with you guys.
Yeah. You can come. We'll give you a walkthrough and all that good stuff.
I love it. Is somebody in your team in Houston based, or are you just doing it remotely?
We have a project manager and he travels. He's actually based in Florida, but he travels all over for our projects. We do have somebody though in Houston that will go in between the time that the project manager can get there. He'll kind of pop over once a week, do video and that kind of thing. But then our project manager will probably go every other week.
If you need another set of eyes, I'm here to help you out. I'm happy to help out, learn the process.
Edgar, you're so sweet. I appreciate that.
That's the way to do it. It's collaboration, My payment will be learning and hanging out with your amazing team. You guys are way ahead of me and I can take tips from there. People listening to this can take tips and learn from it as well,
I would say that is probably the number one thing that I've learned from being in the Subto community and having been in other mentorships, not communities, but like, real estate mentorships, and then joining the Subto community is the partnership, the collaboration, JVing together. That really is what helps people grow. You can do this alone, but it's going to take you forever, right? But when you can build relationships, that's how you excel. And that's part of why our business model is based around that, right? And we can talk about that, at some point after or whenever, but, we built our business model around creating opportunities for people to partner, because we know that that's how you do it. You want to grow, you want to learn, you want to get the experience. You can read about it. You can watch the Zooms, you can talk to the people, but unless you do it, you're not going to get it, right? So you got to do it, and it's scary to do it. And so we're kind of like that, piece between the two, like do it with us because it's less scary. We'll be there for you. We'll support you along the way.
Very insightful, very helpful. I just had my yard people show up. Hopefully it's not too much. Hopefully the noise isn't too loud on here.
No, it's not too bad. And, what's funny is I either have my cat typically comes on my lap when I'm doing a podcast, or the guy's doing the yard work. They don't come any other time. The cat doesn't want anything to do with me unless I'm doing a podcast. That's like, although this is my second of the day. And so she was on my lap earlier. So maybe she's like, I've had my fair share of podcasts today, but usually she's right up in my business.
They love Tracy. So that's your entrepreneurship, the co-living. Are you doing anything else for yourself, entrepreneur wise?
Oh yeah, good question. I am 100% focused on growing my business with Dustin and Kaipo. We really have a full-time business between podcasts and content and working with our VA who helps put our articles together for LinkedIn and doing research on projects, having one-on-ones with investors. That shockingly takes up a very large part of the day. And then the other part of my day, I really make certain that I put and set time aside for myself. Like we just talked about, I have a hard stop here in a little while because I have golf lessons. Tuesday is my golf day. That's right. I go to the gym every day, or I try to get outside and do a walk. I make sure I have time to read and to meditate. And so I am really good about using my calendar to run my life, right? So that my life isn't run by all the other things. And so I block out everything from, reading emails, going to the gym, taking a shower, eating, all the things. Because if you don't take care of yourself, when you're an entrepreneur, you could work all day. I mean, I could literally work 24 hours a day and there's still things to do. So I think it's really important to block out time for yourself, to take care of yourself. And so, yeah. So I stay pretty busy just with this.
Yeah, I feel that. That's great that you're taking time for yourself. A lot of entrepreneurs, we stick on it over and over trying to get it and get yourself burnt out. How long do you think it took you as an entrepreneur before you started dedicating that time and putting that time in the schedule to focus on yourself and not just your hustle?
What a great question. And it's funny that you use the word hustle because I use that all the time. Anybody that's known me for a long time, if you ask them what are like Tracy's top 3 qualities, I guarantee you, smartass, hustler, and kind, usually something like that, right? Because I work really hard to, I'm always mindful of being kind and thoughtful to people and generous, but I'm a total hustler because I left home at 15 and I was all on my own, and you have no choice but to be a hustler. Like you've got to figure out how to make ends meet. And so that's like just ingrained in me. And part of what I love about Dustin is when we met, he's also a hustler. And, he's one of the few people that ever made me feel like I was lazy. And we were on a podcast with Pace one time, and he said the same thing to Pace. I'd never shared this with him out loud. And I was like, Dustin, I feel the same way. Like we're so on the same page. But we also value the importance of taking time because we both didn't always do that. So I would say I was a full-time investor for probably a year and a half. And I felt like I was spinning my wheels, right? And I was working and working. I know it's a lot of us feel that way, right? And I couldn't see the way through. I couldn't see, how do I pause enough to get organized, to get help? How do I trust somebody to do some of these things for me? I can't afford it. I mean, there's a million reasons why we don't do it. But I think the big thing that helped me switch gears was I joined Owners Club, which if you don't know what that is, if you're listening and you're not sure what that is, Pace Morby, who is the leader of the Subto community, created something called Owners Club. And it's just a smaller little subset of Subto. And we're really focused on entrepreneurship and business growth and acceleration. So through last year of Owners Club, we're about a year and a couple months into our second year, we did a lot of focus on personal growth and development. And I would say of all the things I learned last year, probably the personal growth and development was by far the winner. Even though my business grew tremendously, both in size and in value, and my income increased dramatically, I would say those things are second to the fact that I learned the importance of making time for myself. I learned the importance of pausing, trusting people. I learned how to bring on support staff without having to pay them up front, right? And those things kind of all started to fall into place. But I think the biggest piece was making the time for myself to like rejuvenate. And that was really hard because I felt so upside down in everything. And I'm, a single mom. I had a teenager in high school. She's now graduated, but so I'm like doing all the things, like going to the volleyball games and doing the stuff on the weekends and volunteering and all the parenting things, running a business. Like I couldn't see how in the world I could make time for myself until I did it. And then I saw, oh, I made time for myself and now I'm refreshed. And so now going back to my desk and looking at that list of to-dos, that an hour ago made me want to cry, I can now sit at it and look at it with a new set of eyes and go, okay, hold on. I can do this. I can do this, right? So highly recommend you spend some time to learn how to organize yourself. Buy Back Your Time, Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time. I live by, it's right here, guys. I don't earn anything, but I mean, you'll see it's all tabbed up. Great book, really helped me organize. And then, just other motivational people, Mel Robbins, Tim Story, just to name a couple, really helped me just kind of get that mindset going. Yeah.
Such good advice there, such good input. So it took you about a year, but that's great that you actually took the steps and then started hiring people as well. Did you start hiring people at the same time?
Well, and that took a minute, right? It was like I had to kind of get myself figured out. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like, I would go a day and a half and be sitting at my desk and I'm like, Tracy, you haven't showered in like 2 days, because I literally was just go, 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 go. And so you'll laugh if you looked at my calendar. I literally have shower because I do get that ingrained in my tasks. I think a lot of us do. But what I found was when we were building out our team, I first brought on a VA and I did pay her, out of pocket off the bat. And that was really hard. I wasn't making enough money to really pay for her. But that was the first break that I got, right? Where I could put a task on somebody. And that's really hard to do. That's almost like a whole other podcast on just how do you even transfer tasks to people, right? But then as we grew our team, Dustin and Kaipo and I, that's where it really matters, right? So we knew we needed to bring on 4 or 5 people right out of the gate if we were really going to be able to do this right. So how do you say to somebody, hey, you're really talented, super experienced. We would be honored if you would join our team. And by the way, we don't have any money to pay you right now. So could you work for free for a couple months? Well, I'll tell you how you do that is you believe in yourself and you believe in your dream and you believe in your vision. Because once you can sell that to somebody, it was like the opposite. We weren't even through our sentence and our operator was like, yes, I want to be part of this. I see your vision and I want to be part of this from the ground up. And that's how the conversation with every one of our team members went, because we believe so strongly in our vision and our mission and our goals and being aligned with the right people on the team with value wise, not just making money. And it all falls into place because those people see you, they believe in you, they believe in your dream, and they want to be part of it. And so it's a very win-win. We're as grateful for our operator, Emily, as she is to be part of our team.
That's amazing. So if you're listening to this and you're in that position, if you believe in yourself that way and you can show your vision, your goal, okay, the dream is one thing, but a goal, when you write it down, showing you how you're going to get there and you can show that to people and the passion that you have, you can get people to work alongside with you before you start paying them because they believe in the same thing. I need to get to that point. Thank you for that advice. If you're listening to this and you missed it, go back, rewind it, and write this down so you remember it. Tracy's dropping some bombs. She's already there. Follow her footsteps. It'll help you get there so much sooner.
And that's what I learned, right? Is I followed other people, right? I joined Subto and I had other people put their hand out and say, how can I help you? What do you need? How can I support you? And so, that's what we love about Pace is he instills that in us. So, my team and I, we provide so much free resources and free time. And it's because we just want to support all the people and give back the way people supported us, because that's how we got here. You can only read so much in a book, right? And watch YouTube videos and podcasts. But when it gets time to put the rubber to the road, so to speak, you need people there by your side, right? Because it's a hard thing to do. All of this it's hard work.
Yeah, definitely. So you're entrepreneur now. How long, is that all you do or do you still have a W-2?
Nope. So I was an educator for 25 years. And I think you'll like this story because I think it really feeds into what a lot of your listeners come to you for, right? Is that path of I was here and how do you get there? And I'll just share with you guys. So like I mentioned, left home early, lived on the streets, kind of a bootstrap person, right? Fortunately, I just had that mindset as a young person. Like I wasn't going to let anything get me down. But I know that that's not ingrained in everybody. So it is really hard. Like it's easier said than done to just be like, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. I hear people say that and I just want to smack them upside the head because it's hard and not everybody has that in them innately. Right. So, but I was very fortunate. That was just like built inside me. Like nothing was going to keep me down. But I had a hard time and I ended up putting myself through college part-time for years. I mean, I was in college part-time for like 30 years. I mean, I kid you not, it was ridiculous because I ended up getting a GED sooner than I would have graduated high school. And I was able to start community college pretty early on. It was really important to me, probably because everybody told me I was going to be like a loser druggie. So I was like, I'll show you. I'm going to college, right? And so I did. I started taking a class, and then taking 2 classes. But anyway, long story short, put myself through college, became a teacher. I started teaching preschool and I worked my way up over 25 years, working in different aspects from administration to high school to middle school, you name it. But I got to a point in my life where it was right after COVID. I'd lost my mom. She got sick from cancer and lived with us, through the period of, through, her death. And that was really challenging. And that was the tail end of COVID. And teaching was like nothing you've ever seen before. I mean, it was just a mess and so challenging to stay connected to the kids. And then our community experienced a wildfire and we lost thousands of homes in our community, right? Like more than 50% of my students were homeless overnight. I lost my home. I was in the process. I wasn't in real estate yet, but I was doing a flip, ironically, just for fun. Lost that in the fire, lost our home in the fire. All my students lost their home. And, such a blessing when you can look back. I mean, we were fortunate that we had insurance. So we had a way to recover. And so it's easier for me to say it's a blessing. If I didn't have insurance and I was still living in a hotel room 4 years later, like a lot of people are, I might have a different perspective, but we were fortunate. We had insurance. We had some money in the bank. So we recovered, but it was the kick in the butt that made me go, what are you doing? You're tired of teaching. You have more to give the world. You're tired of being poor because you're a single parent teacher. Time to do something different. Like don't retire as the grumpy old teacher, which is where I felt like I was going. And so I just had to take a leap of faith in myself. And it was the scariest thing I have probably done in a very, very long time. But that fire reminded me that life is way too short and life can turn you upside down on a dime, whether it's an illness, an injury, a natural disaster. I mean, you name it. Our life turned upside down in the matter of a couple of hours. And that just was, I think, the catalyst that I needed. And when I talk with people, I share the story because I want people to see that, don't stay stuck in something you hate. Don't stay stuck in something that's holding you back and keeping you from shining and doing the things and bringing your talents to the world. I mean, I'm not saying quit your W-2 today and jump into real estate, but there is a path to do both. And there is a pathway to get out of a career that you don't love and do something that you do love. And I'm an example of it, right? I went from being a homeless youth to an entrepreneur that owns a very successful real estate business.
What an amazing story. Where are you located at when the fire happened, the wildfires?
Yeah, I live in Southern Oregon.
Okay.
Southern Oregon. It's called the Alameda Fire. And it was just a random, it was actually turned out that it was started by somebody purposefully. And it was a crazy windy day and it just took off and it became a massive wildfire and it
just leveled one town, completely leveled it. And then second town took it down about half the homes. I mean, we're talking about banks and bank vaults burnt to the ground. So FYI, that safe deposit box, not always so safe. Yeah. Just
wow, I never considered that.
No, me neither. It was after the fact. And you see, there it is. And the vault door is what burned. The vault itself stayed, but the door burned. Yeah. It was really crazy. But yeah, life is a crazy thing.
Is that the fire that was started by, I know this elderly woman started a fire so her son could get the hazard pay bonuses.
No,
I don't know if it was that one.
I've heard that story before. Yeah. No, thankfully, no. Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is real estate the first entrepreneur step that you took?
Oh, yeah. Great question. This time around, yes, but no, I actually owned a wine store with two partners many, many, many years ago. I used to live in Lake Tahoe, California, and we opened a wine store in South Lake Tahoe, right by the Heavenly Ski Resort that's there. And that was really a very interesting, eye-opening experience. And I definitely learned a lot of lessons from that helped me in growing this business. But I knew that I always wanted to do my own thing. I just never knew like the how or the what. And so that was really fun. And I learned a lot, but I wasn't passionate about it. So, about 2-ish years in, I ended up selling my partnership, and then my other two partners kept that for several years. But as far as this go around, yes, real estate was, yeah. And honestly, it happened because I was scrolling on Instagram, right? And it reads our minds. So it knows, right? It's listening. It knows Tracy's looking for something to do. So every stay at home mom, work from home job, they're all coming up on my feed. But real estate came up several times, probably because I clicked on it once. I don't know why, but randomly, that's the one I chose. And I joined a different, like I said, joined a mentorship. And I was in that for about a year. Again, just kind of spinning my wheels, right? There weren't enough people in that group that were making progress and staying in the group, offering to provide support. And so people were learning and growing, but then they were leaving to make it to that next step, right? There were very few people that stayed once they hit that, million mark, let's say, right? It was kind of like, okay, I've outgrown this. And so, I just found myself not getting the support that I needed. And I'm a very hands-on person. I want to talk to people, work with people, see what you're doing, right? Like, how can I bring value to your project so that I could be a fly on the wall kind of thing?
Yeah, very insightful. This community, it's a community. It's not just a mentorship, Subto.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. You have that experience there. I've had the same experience with another mentorship that I was in. And now Subto, it's just meeting amazing people like you and Pace. Shout out to Pace and what he's created. If you want to join, there's a link below. Tracy Koa, where can people find you? Is at tracykoa.com everywhere?
Yeah, I am at Tracy Koa on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. You got it. That's where you can find me all day.
Yeah, so if you like what she's saying about Subto community, you can follow her link to join using her affiliate link. We'll get a little kickback there, but you're going to enjoy a community for life. It's not just a little bit here and there. There is some training, but the biggest thing is the communication and what we mentioned earlier about the who you're going to meet to learn how to do the how.
Yes. Yeah. Because Pace really works hard to cultivate our culture, you will find there are people within the Subto community making millions and millions of dollars a year, and they're happy to help. They're there to help. They show up on the Zooms to help. They're not showing up on the Zoom because they need to raise capital for their next project. They already have that dialed in. They're showing up on the Zooms to meet people and to offer their support. And that's real. That is true.
How long have you been in Subto now?
Year and a half, I guess. Yeah, year and a half. Yeah. I'm in Gator. My second year in Owners Club. Love it. Owners Club is a game changer. It's just
You need to meet people like yourself, people that are just taking it to that next level and really committed to making a change both on a personal level as well as a business level. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, Owners Club has been amazing. I'm learning so much. I'm at that level and just growing in so many things. How do you focus on just the co-living? I'm getting distracted by so many opportunities, you know?
Oh, I know. It's so, oh gosh, I'll tell you what, Edgar, that is a hard thing to do. And Dustin and I, for a while, were doing other things because we both had other ways we made active income. And there was a day where we both said, okay, if we're really going to do this thing, if we're really going to be dedicated to co-living, it's time to erase off the whiteboard, the other things, right? So we both have whiteboards with our goals, and they had our other income goals for our other projects. And one day I said, I believe in you and I believe in me, and I know you believe in me and I know you believe in you. So what are we waiting for? And we turned and we erased off our dry erase boards, our other income. And that was the day we said, today's the day. We are 100% committed to co-living. And it is challenging. We get deal flow sent to us left and right all day. And we just have to say no. We try to direct people. Let's say somebody brings us a deal that isn't something we're interested in. We'll try to send that to somebody else that we know it might be a good fit for, so we can still keep supporting people. But if you really want to get good at something, you have to just do that thing. And that was a conversation that I had with Pace that really was pivotal in that shift, right? And he talked about that, and he's like, you know, where are you? What are you doing? You know, and I'm like, I thought he meant like, what are you doing right now? Right. And I was like, I'm underwriting. What are you doing? You know, and he's like, no, like, what are you doing? I see that you're selling, you're wholesaling portfolios. That was something I did, right? I see that you're, bird dogging some of these co-living properties. I see that you're still private money lending. I see that you're, trying to do this business with Dustin. Like, what are you doing? Because if you're doing all these things, I can't tell people what you're doing. But if you are doing one thing, then that's the thing. And then that's what people start to know you for. And then it's really easy to promote you, and it's easy for people to know. And so when we made that pivot, now it's really clear. Like, most people that know myself, Dustin and Kaipo, know us as the co-living people, right? We taught the co-living semesters in Subto. That sort of solidified it. We do co-living office hours for free every week. So we just drive everything is co-living, 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 co-living. We even, now that we just focus on new construction co-living, it's still hard, Edgar. We get deals. People are like, you want this deal with this deal? Because we used to buy and convert into co-living, or we would buy pre-existing co-living and take that over. And just the other day, someone sent us a deal, and, it's hard not to just like take a quick peek at it. And I was like, Dustin, I texted, did you see that deal? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, it's so hard to resist. He's like, I know. But we just keep going back to, if we want to grow this business, and if we want to become the people known for new build construction co-living, that's all we can do. We can't be doing a little of this and a little of that and a little of that, because then you can't be an expert on the one thing.
You're speaking to me on so many levels there. Thank you so much for taking it in, because that's what I'm doing. I'm just, I like to be, it's weird. I want to be efficient. So somebody sends me something. Oh, I see this here. I know somewhere, and I can put it here, connect it here, and connect it there. But what am I going to be known for? And
right. And like you, I love that you're Edgar the connector, and that is a very important role. And connecting is how I've gotten to where I'm at. It's how we get to where we get, right? Is building those relationships. And then there's a balance of, there's only so much time in the day, right? And so it's like, you've got to funnel your time to make sure that you're getting the work done that you need to get done to grow your business. And it is really challenging, because you're like me. We just want to support people, help people. If someone sends you information that you can't use, but somebody that can, you just feel like, I have to do it.
And I did that for a long time. And I realized that I had to find a better balance because I was spending a lot of time getting distracted throughout the day. A text would come in and I'm like, oh, oh yeah, that's not my market, but I know that Edgar's market. Let me text Edgar. And now I'm texting Edgar. Instead, I should be looking at those projects or whatever the case may be that I should be doing. And so one of the things that helped me figure this out was Dan Martell in his book, Buy Back Your Time, has you do a calendar audit. And so at the end of the week, I do it every day and then every week. But at the end of the day, you go back and you look through your day and you look at where are these money-making activities and did I do them? And if I didn't, what the hell was I doing? Well, what I came to find out for myself is if I had 2 hours blocked for money-making activities, there were days I never even did any of it. And when I looked at what did I do, I would go back through my text messages in that time period. And guess what I was doing? Texting with other people, supporting them and their challenges or their questions or whatever, or connecting people, which I love and want to do, but I wasn't making money. And now it's maybe 7 o'clock at night. And the thing that I was supposed to do between 2 and 4 when it was business hours is now like a moot point because those people are gone. I can't make that phone call or it's too late to send the thing or whatever the case may be. But that's for me that was a very helpful tool. I did that over a month and man, it was an eye opener. And I found that I was my biggest worst enemy.
Again, talking to me so many levels. I look at the text message like, I know I can answer that, but no. So being with the calendar, what Pace has taught us, I put everything on my calendar now. Yeah. And then I see a text. I'm like, no, that's got to wait for later. Yep. But I'm like, but I know, wait, got to go back to what I have to focus on. Hard. Self-control.
I have my daughter's phone number on like the ring through bypass. And so that when I turn my ringer off through the day, when I'm working in my working blocks, and the only text or phone call I would get would be from my daughter. And that's the only person that I will pause and check in with. Other than that, it's like, nope, this is what I'm doing. And you have to do that because that's going to allow you to grow your business. And once your business is growing and now you're bringing support staff in and you have a little bit more free time and eventually you'll get to a place where your working schedule is the opposite. You're working 2 hours a day and 4 hours a day. You have time to text people back and connect with people and do the things that we love to do. But until you get there, it's like, you've got to have the roles reversed. Like I need to block out 4 hours a day or more of actual quiet work time where nobody gets in, and then an hour of the connecting,
Yes, definitely. I've been thinking about blocking off my phones and just putting that stir period to just focus on the money making activities. And then now with Space doing the bird dogging, promoting the Owners Club members, I'm getting a lot more there and starting to pick up people for that portion of the business that I'm trying to do because I do the wholesaling, sober living, lending. Tracy Koa before she is now. I have my W-2.
Yeah. You have so much on your plate with your W-2.
Podcast, connecting.
I did the same thing, Edgar. I was also private money lending. That was a huge part of my business. And I let that go, and I will lend my own money on some of our projects because I don't need to spend the extra time to do the underwriting and the vetting because I've already done it because it's my project. But other than that, because that's really time consuming. And so again, just if you're getting started in real estate and you've got your, maybe in the beginning, it's okay to kind of have your toe in all the different things, right? Because you're learning and you don't know what you like. And, is my avatar a good fit for this role? But once you've kind of couple months in and you've tasted all the flavors, you kind of got to pick one and you just got to hang with it for a minute, give it several months and see where you get. And if you really don't like it, sure, maybe you need to do a pivot, but I think really just being focused very heavily on one thing, for me, that is what brought the most success, is just, yeah, it's really tough.
I'm going to put this on replay when I'm working, listening to Tracy say, hey, focus. Okay. Yes.
I was going to say, you'll crack up. I was going to say, just text me, Edgar, but don't.
No.
I was... Or if I do, you'd be like, why are you answering me now? You're supposed to be working.
I just talking about Dan Martell and his Buy Back Your Time. On Instagram, I was following him. So I take about 15 minutes throughout the day and I'll go throw the ball for my dog. And that's what I'm on Instagram. And I was listening to him saying, follow your mentors, follow somebody that's 20 years ahead. So that's kind of like pace, right? And then a peer, somebody that's a little bit ahead of you, 5 years ahead of you. Yes. I found my peer, Tracy Koa. Here we go. I'm going to record this and listen to it.
You're so sweet. You're just so kind. It's true. Justin Tumanowski was that person for me when I joined Subto. And he's been such an inspiration and so supportive. And he's kind of my go-to guy when I just can't push through or I can't figure it out. I'll tell you the thing, you hear Pace say this a lot, which is, the magic is in the work we're avoiding. And I'll tell you what, if I had to give one piece of advice to people, aside from what we did just talk about, I'm telling you, that is it right there. And it doesn't matter where you're at. I remember when I first started and I was wholesaling. Lord of mercy, it was so hard to just pick up the phone. And then I would pick up the phone and I'm like, please don't answer. Please don't answer. Please don't answer. Cause I don't want to, I'm like so nervous to talk to people. Right. When it was private money lending, it was, actually looking at the deals and really doing the underwriting and learning how to vet that. And then, actually taking action. And so sometimes the thing that we're avoiding is taking action. And that is the thing that you have to do, right? You've got to do the work that you're scared of, that you're afraid of, that is hard. And you have to push through that and start taking action. And if you're afraid to take action by yourself, which is perfectly normal, because guys, every deal I close, I'm always like, because it's scary. When I was doing it by myself, I was scared because it was all my own money that I could lose. Now I'm doing it with partners and investors, and I'm even more scared because it's other people's money that I'm now, wanting to make sure is in good hands and, not really a fiduciary. That's a legal role, but, somebody that's very mindful of other people's money. So, that partnership piece is huge. So if you're listening to this and you're alone and you're feeling afraid and you're feeling like I'm not taking action and I'm not doing the things, find somebody doing the things that you want to do. And even if they're brand new, like you might be, it's better to do it together. That's how I learned how to underwrite. Is I would find a property. I wasn't even going to buy it. It was just a property I found. And I would underwrite it. And then I'd get on one of the Subto underwriting Zooms and I would pretend I was looking at buying it and go, oh, can you help me look at this deal? And they would walk through the deal with me. And I would learn in the beginning that I had no clue what I was doing. But over time, I would bring the deal and it was like, good job, you're spot on. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I know what I'm doing. And then I got a partner. And then that was a game changer because then I had somebody along for the ride with me.
I love the angles that you gave with that advice. I was about to ask you, you went straight into it. I love it. How can somebody work with you?
Yeah, thanks for that question. Well, my partners and I have a vision to really and truly support people in co-living. We feel so grateful that we have been able to create a culture within our company where we really support people and we're able to grow. And so we came up with a vision, which is our Mount Everest, which is really like a long-term 5-year goal. So we're looking to empower 10,000 other investors that are interested in co-living. And we really want to bring them along on this shared journey of co-living ownership, right? When people invest with us in our projects, we provide our insight, right? We help cultivate connections amongst other investors. We want to bring impact and change and really bring purpose to our wealth building and working on building a community with them together. And so the best way that people can work with us and learn is to invest in one of our projects. Our projects are open to people for as an investment of as little as $5,000. For $5,000, you can invest in a project. You earn equity in the project, which equates to cash flow. So every quarter you get a cash flow distribution, and you're also an owner. So we put you on the operating agreement with us, which means you're on the HUD. So you're building your own credibility. You're building an actual portfolio of real estate. You own this. You can physically go to the property if you like, because you're a partial owner of it. But the best part is you get to see the behind the scenes, right? You have full access to us. As you can imagine, we're really busy. We don't have the capacity to take on too many one-on-one meetings anymore. So what we do is we use this as another opportunity. Now you've got access to us. You have direct line of communication, and you can see the whole process of operating a co-living project. Now that we're hyper-focused on new build construction, it's even more exciting because you can see the process from land acquisition all the way through the build, and then getting the project with members, and operational. And so it's really like a earn and learn kind of thing. We call it, where you get to earn. And, so instead of paying $5,000 to join somebody's co-living mentorship or workshop, you could pay $5,000, get that money back eventually, and learn for free. So, we also offer tons of free resources. So whether or not you want to invest with us, please utilize our free resources. If you're interested in co-living and you're in the Subto community, you can go into the Subto vault and you're going to see semesters. It's a vault in it of itself. And in there, you'll see the co-living semester. Dustin and I did 8 hours of co-living content. So that's in there. If you're not in the Subto community, I don't know what in the world you're doing. You should definitely join. However, we still love and honor you, and we want to support you. So we've got lots of additional free resources that anybody can access. So you can go to our website, colivingsemesters.com. Super simple. Or you could DM me at Tracy Koa. And when you go to our website, you'll see links for all the things. We've got a calculator that we built specifically for co-living. So as you're doing your underwriting, it'll help automatically calculate some of the things like vacancy rates and paying for your property manager. Maybe you want to use pad split, right? It'll calculate those percentages. We've got an ebook that we had professionally developed and written. That is what we use to develop the curriculum for the semesters in Subto. And we've got tons of underwriting videos. So, almost every time we underwrite a property, we'll record it. And many of those we just throw up on to our YouTube channels. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, we do co-living office hours. It's 1 hour every Tuesday, every Thursday. You can hop on and you can just listen. You can hop on and ask questions. You can bring a project. Today, we underwrote 2 properties for people that we're on. So great ways to connect with other co-living investors as well.
Amazing. So many ways to connect with you. What did I tell you at the beginning? This is a rock star, Tracy Koa of the Subto community, such a go-giver. The community's a go-giver. They're the ones that don't give, that just take it filtered out. So this is an amazing way to do it. Yeah. I love it. Are you looking for more land in the Houston area?
At the moment, we're not, although we might. But at the moment, we are working with our contractor to really help identify the land for us. Probably on the next couple, we'll just work with him strictly on that. He has someone on his team that does land acquisition already. And they know the build model, the structure. They know the area really well. But do you wholesale land?
No, but whoever's listening to, if they do, I do have one lead in Baytown that I've been trying to move from a coworker that he has right under 14 acres.
Wow.
And I haven't been able to connect to the who of how to move it.
Yeah.
And then again, shiny object, this and that. And I've been.
I know. Believe me, I know. Yeah. It'll be fun to talk to you in a couple months from now because I can see you're going to get more and more laser focused. And next time we chat or I see you, you'll be like, guess what I'm doing? One thing. And you're going to be like blown up.
I hope so. I kind of do. I kind of don't. I don't know. I love the different things, it's just, I get bored with one thing and want to move on, but I appreciate you so much. I'll make sure all your contact information is in the description below so people can reach out to you, and then we'll be pushing this out, and I'll see you in Monterey next week.
I'll see you next week in Monterey. Yeah.
Owners
I really
Club.
appreciate you having me. Thank you so much for your time and for letting me be part of your show and get to connect with your followers. It's really nice.
Thank you so much. And tell Dustin I have an opening if he can hop on. I would appreciate to have him. Yeah. I know you're almost out of time. Your keynote series, I remember watching your one-on-one with Pace. Fantastic. I loved it. Are you going to be doing a keynote anytime soon?
Great question. I don't know. So, it's funny. That was one of my too many things happening. And what I had to decide. So guys, if you're listening, I have always wanted to be a motivational speaker. It's why I became a teacher, because I didn't know how would you become a speaker, right? But I knew that if I became a teacher, I would be able to connect with young adults, right? And my goal was to really help young adults see that you could go from being this little like street rat that I was to a professional. And if I can do it, you can do it, right? Kind of thing. And so anyway, I really was kind of geared into that for a hot minute. Like, I'm going to just spend all this time to figure out how to become a professional speaker. But again, I realized, like, is that what you want to be known for? And is that where you want to put all your efforts? Or how about you just focus on the one thing for now and then see where it goes? And funny enough, it has organically kind of happened in the sense that I'm on more and more podcasts like yours, which is a great opportunity to share my story. And I've been invited all over the country to speak at people's meetups, which has been so much fun. I spoke at 2 meetups in Florida last 2 weeks ago. I'm speaking in LA next week. So it's just organically kind of happened, and it's really fun to see. So I really appreciate you asking about that.
That's beautiful. Hey, I'm getting motivated talking to you here, so I appreciate it.
It was hard to let go. I'll tell you, that was probably the hardest of all the things I was doing. Yeah.
So you heard it here from Tracy. She had the objects of going everywhere, and being laser focused is what's helped her to be successful, to be a role model to where I want to be soon with her guidance.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
So drop a like, give a comment, tell Tracy thank you, and where she's speaking at next so you can catch her live. Catch his next podcast where you can start your dreams and start to own your time the way these other guests have.